Back to that first alert weather, we were seeing those fluffy clouds out there, but we got video of what things looked like earlier in the day. Heavy rain here in Rancho Cordova. Some people trying to brave it. Other people maybe just got caught in it like me. I was out taking a walk, beautiful in East Sac 1 second, and then just downpour the next. We even got hail over there in East Sac as well.
Yeah, we got small hail ranging up to some larger hail once you got closer to the foothills and mountains. But today has been a busy day for all of us. You know, you're catching either, a few raindrops here to heavier rain somewhere else. And then even some severe thunderstorms have been popping up as well. So we're still not done with it. We still do have showers, thunderstorms out there this evening. But as we take a look at our rain report so far, I did cherry pick a few locations. Grass Valley at the top of the list with over 2 inches picked up from this storm system alone. Placerville is getting very close to the 2-inch mark. Around Modesto, just over a ½ an inch, sitting right now at 0.60 inches. And even around Sac McClellan Airfield, just over 0.41 inches. So some really good rain totals, but we are still busy. Right now, we are still watching a severe thunderstorm warning just to the north of Sacramento, Yuba City, sitting across portions of Butte, Tehama counties. Out there with this storm, it is producing some larger hail, some gusty winds, and some very heavy rain. Just to the southeast, a thunderstorm now moving into portions of Nevada County and starting to stretch its way closer to Sierra County, turning into snow once it hits about 4,500 feet in elevation. Storms out there this afternoon have been producing very heavy rain, some pea-sized hail to even quarter-sized hail at times, and we have seen some larger hail up to about 1 inch in diameter. Off to the south around Auburn, and even as you get closer to Forest Hill, still some heavy rain pockets still falling right now. And from Lodi all the way to Paloma, once you get closer to Valley Springs, some heavy rain, all thanks to a line of thunderstorms that we're continuing to watch, producing some lightning strikes. Right now we're seeing about 9 lightning strikes. As we take a look a bit further south, this is new to Hunter. We've got another tornado warning that has been reissued across portions of the southeast Stanislaus County region. And this is right around Hickman, Turlock, just to the southeast as you get closer to Tuolumne counties. Now we're going to stay with you as this is brand new to me, just got issued, and this will continue until 5:30. We are seeing hail size upwards about 0.75 inches, so very close to that inch mark. Some heavy rain coming down, gusty winds as well. Now we're going to continue to stay with you. I'm going to actually go to my computer right now, Hunter, but we're right on top of this because we just saw one earlier right around 3:30 this afternoon. So Hunter, what can you say to people that, again, you're from Texas, you've seen a lot of these. Absolutely. What can you say to people that are right now in that area?
All right, so let's talk about what the most immediate thing is for people who find themselves in this sphere right now of severe weather. You need to be getting to your safe place, as we call it. Know where you need to go. So we're talking a small windowless room inside your home with no exterior outward facing walls. So again, very important to be calmly getting to that location. And this is something too, Ashley, that we know not only is it in this immediate area, but if you've got friends or family that are maybe traveling in that area, we're talking about that 5 o'clock busy commute, knowing what to do if you're in a car. It's time to safely pull over, maybe call your loved ones, tell them to get to the nearest gas station, the nearest shopping center, to get inside, because right now the most important thing that you can be doing is getting out of your car. You cannot outrun a tornado. You cannot outdrive a tornado. The most important thing to do is to get off of the road, get inside of a building, and do not park underneath any of those overpasses, no matter how sturdy it may be looking, or of course any trees. Again, that's another really dangerous situation to be put in. And get out of a mobile home if you happen to be there, if you can safely do so. Now, if you cannot, the most important thing, Ashley, is to get inside, get into that safe space, and cover your head.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm getting some more information. This is happening right around 4:48. It was issued a severe thunderstorm warning. Capable of producing a tornado, was located over Hickman. That's about 8 miles northeast of Turlock, and this cell is moving at a rate of about 20 miles per hour eastward. So again, this is possible of a tornado. We haven't seen the report saying that we've seen a funnel cloud in that area, but please make sure that you go inside. Make sure you find somewhere inside of your home that is away from windows, exterior walls. Just make sure for to please go inside. If you're outside right now, call your friends who live in southeast Stanislaus County. Again, this storm system the cell, is moving to the north right now, the northeast, about 20 miles per hour. So getting very close to Tuolumne counties, and that's why that warning is extended into Tuolumne County. So right over Waterford, LaGrange, getting close to the Don Pedro Reservoir. So Hunter, this is right where we saw it earlier too. So this area very active right now and has been active through this afternoon. All thanks to those peaks of sunshine. That's what's been really fueling these severe thunderstorms so far this afternoon. I do want to turn on one thing. So Hunter, I know that you've been giving really good advice so far today to viewers about what they need to look out for, what they should be watching for. So what's something else that you could probably give for advice-wise of what they should be looking for?
Well, let's break down why exactly the National Weather Service is issuing that tornado warning, because I think for people who haven't gone through something like this before, this can be very scary. It can be very unknown. So let's tell you what exactly that criteria is, because the National Weather Service, of course, has very specific criteria. So when it comes to these tornado warnings, they have detected, the National Weather Service, Doppler radar reported on the ground, or they have reliable sources. Like earlier, we saw that funnel cloud. There was an actual photograph of the danger that they were looking at here to be able to say, yes, this is an issue. This is what we're seeing. And this is why we are saying that you need to be getting to that windowless, small interior room. Again, there are a number of evenings I spent with a mattress over my head, because sometimes that was the safest thing to do. If there is debris flying, you need to be away from the windows. So we're talking, this is not the time to get your phone out. This is not the time to be taking those videos. This is the time to be getting your dogs, getting any animals that may be outside, and safely be returning to that interior room. Actually, important to note here too that this is not just that immediate area, but those surrounding areas. You are tracking so closely where this is going. So step people through. I mean, what do they need to be watching out for, and where is this moving if people have friends and family in the area?
So again, this is across portions of southeast Stanislaus County. So there we go. My mic's back on. But right now, Stanislaus County, you're the ones underneath this southeast as you get further east of Turlock and Denair. So as we zoom in a bit closer, you can see that warning still east of Modesto. Hickman sitting across Hickman right now, east of Turlock, and then traveling up closer to Tuolumne counties, which is why they're under this warning as well. This tornado warning is going to continue until 5:30. So we have between now and 5:30 that you need to be checking on your loved ones. You need to be getting inside. You need to be getting away from any exterior walls and windows, finding a safe space in your home. A bathroom is a really good location, especially if it has no windows in it. Make sure you get in the bathtub, have something to cover your head in case there is any debris that is flying around and in case a tornado develops. Now, right now, we are seeing some signatures that there is some rotation in this area. So that is inbound, outbound winds that are creating that circular motion and giving the chance of a funnel cloud to develop. So that is why the National Weather Service has issued this. That is what we are keeping a very close eye on. But Hunter, it looks like it's in the exact same place it was earlier. So very close to Montpelier Road and even the South Hickman Road. So just near Waterford, now starting to see more lightning as well, especially across the far eastern shaft of this. So still inbound, outbound, giving it that circulation, giving it that rotation. Rotation has been indicated. So please make sure to get inside. Do not risk it for a photo. Do not risk it to get outside. Make sure you get some good video. Do not do it. Make sure you go inside. Keep yourself safe, because that's going to be the most important thing. But with these thunderstorms that have been moving through today, we have seen some heavy rain, very strong gusty winds too, and that is what we're seeing out of this system, or this cell, as it passes off to the north. Now this cell is moving to the northeast at a rate of 20 miles an hour. So getting closer to Tuolumne counties, getting closer to Don Pedro Reservoir. So if you do have any friends, any family that's heading up in that direction, give them a call. Let them know, hey, keep an eye to the sky, get somewhere safe, and make sure that you get indoors, because this is going to be passing through. I do want to run over to my computer one more time, but Hunter, can you give some more advice on what they should be looking out for?
Well, I'm looking to, if you're in the area of Hickman, this is a time for you to be getting your pets ready, getting indoors. Do not chance it. Do not risk yourself by getting out outside, by leaving. You need to be getting indoors and getting ready to weather this, because again, we are in this until 5:30. So it is 4:57 right now. You've got over 30 minutes to be in this, what we are calling, uncertainty right now of potentially their rotation. It looks like maybe they've updated and allowed this, Ashley, to expire. That notice is off the screen. There it goes. It's back up.
There we go.
So again,
Yeah,
a very
really
actively
fast.
changing situation right now, and one that is going to take Ashley and meteorologists that you rely on to be tracking this where you need to be. LaGrange, you see there in that area of warning, but Waterford, Mount Pelier Road is what we were talking about earlier. But we saw the funnel cloud. There was a photograph that the first time this was issued around 3:30, so we know that there's just a really dangerous and active situation here right now in the area. You need to be getting indoors. You need to be getting away from those windows and making sure that you've got extra batteries, flashlights. Be prepared to lose power. This is another really, another element of this that you've got to think about here as we head into these overnight hours is staying with your local media. If you lose us on the television, you can get us online. We're always streaming on CBS13.com. So that is another way for you to get that information if you are in these areas that are going to be seeing this extend until 5:30. Again, a tornado warning.
Yeah, so I just wanted to change some views here so you guys have a better idea as to how this storm is moving, where it is moving to. So again, if you think about it, we're on the eastern edge of Stanislaus County right before it hits Tuolumne counties and even Mariposa counties as well. So Mariposa County, I could see you being added to this very soon as the cell starts to move off towards the northeast. But you've got Don Pedro Reservoir right here. So if you do have any loved ones that are going to be going out to the reservoir for any recreating tonight or even this evening, give them a call, let them know, hey, this is what's happening right now. But this tornado warning is going to continue until 5:30. Right now for Stanislaus County, Tuolumne counties, the far eastern portion of Stanislaus County, and as you get further to the western portion of Tuolumne County. So we are keeping an eye on this storm, of course, as it continues to move off towards the northeast. We've got Warnerville, we've got LaGrange included. Just a bit further east of that, we've got Chinese Camp right now seeing some heavy rain across portions of Highway 108. Coulterville, you're not far from the rain, but it'll sure be hitting you here very soon. Barrett seeing some light rain right now as well. Knights Ferry just south of where you're at, Warnerville, and still seeing some heavy pockets of rain right there. But we have seen the indication that we are seeing some rotation out of this cell. So that could be possible in creating a tornado, creating a funnel cloud like we saw earlier this afternoon in a very similar location right off Mount Pelier Road. So as we take a look at things a little bit wider out, again, Modesto, you're in the clear. Oakdale, also in the clear. Turlock, you're in the clear. But if you look off towards the east, you can probably see those dark storm clouds and even some rain still lingering from this cell. I want to take you guys out with a live view of Modesto. We have pointed our camera eastward so you guys just see those dark skies. Of course, this isn't showing the exact area where this tornado warning is, but it gives you a picture of that severe weather is still moving through, active weather still moving through, and we still have the chance of these strong cells developing through the rest of this evening. So we need to keep an eye out to the sky. We need to make sure that we're staying safe. And for those of you that are underneath this tornado warning, you need to make sure you're getting inside, you're getting to a safe location, you're away from any exterior walls, windows, and make sure you're getting something over your head to make sure that if your roof does come collapsing in or something does break through your window, you've got a way of protecting yourself. But here's a look at what we are seeing. So as meteorologists, we look for something inbound and outbound winds. So velocity showing that rotation. So you've got wind that's traveling this way, another wind that's going this way, and it creates that rotation. Along with that, lightning strikes as well. We've seen several out of this cell, especially as you get closer to Mount Pelier Road and even South Hickman Road. And that's really what the National Weather Service has been keeping a close eye on out of these cells that have been passing through, is if we see any indication of that rotation, that's what we're watching out for. Hunter, do you have any new information?
Well, we just want to let people know too that Ashley, you've been doing such a good job of predicting exactly where this is going, how quickly it's moving. If you're joining us here for the CBS 13 News at 5 o'clock, as Ashley said, we're tracking this tornado warning in place until 5:30. You can see there Hickman, just east of northeast of Turlock. If you are in the area, remaining calm. Ashley again is going to stay with you on this until It expires at this point. That is going to be at 5:30 p.m. But we are going to continue this on the CBS 13 News at 5 o'clock to track this and make sure that you have all the information that you need. Of course, staying calm, making sure that you have all the things you need, that your pets have been taken inside. Ashley's updating her maps right now, making sure that we've got the very latest. But again, this tornado warning means that the National Weather Service, either by radar or by having substantial evidence on the ground, maybe a photograph. It was earlier in the day in this exact location. We saw a funnel cloud that was detected. Somebody sent us a picture of that. So that's what they're going to be doing right now. But this is going to be the moment that you need to take action. This is not a tornado watch, which means the conditions are right and that you should be aware of rapidly changing situation that could lead to a tornado warning. This tornado warning means that there is an immediate threat for those who are in this area we've got mapped out for you on your screen. You need to be in a safe place, know where you can go. If you are in a mobile home and you can safely do so, which means that you are not in active danger, you need to be getting to a home where there is more protection, where there is a more stable place for you to be with these strong winds moving through. Also important to note, if you are driving to get out of your car, you need to be able to have a safe place to go as well. So we're talking a grocery store, a gas station, both options, if you can safely do so, where you cannot be in that vehicle, because we know that vehicles can be tossed around by the strength of these winds, and that can be a really dangerous situation as well. So again, if you're in this portion of Stanislaus and Tuolumne counties, we need to be having that plan in place. We need to be making sure that we've got the steps to take, Ashley, to keep your family and yourself safe.
Absolutely. And I want to give you some context too. The National Weather Service first spotted this rotation happening right around 4:48. So that's when they saw it and they got right onto it when issuing that tornado warning. And that's something we look out for. If we do see any rotation at all, if we do get a viewer that calls in that's like, hey, we do see a funnel cloud, it's happening right now, we take all of that into account. And if the conditions are right, that's when we alert you to let you know that, hey, this isn't a false situation. This is happening right now. So a tornado warning, again, issued until 5:30 across portions of Stanislaus County, the eastern edge of it. And as you get closer to Tuolumne counties on the western edge of it, I will expect Mariposa to be included in this as well. So we are keeping a very close eye on this situation. This is a very rural area, which is some good news. But then again, you still do have people that live out in these homes way out in the countryside, and they may be outside tending to their yards. So if you do have any friends, family members that do live in this area, please make sure to call them, let them know to get inside and get somewhere safe. But we are seeing some heavy rain coming out of this thunderstorm that's moving through. Again, this storm tracking off to the northeast at a rate of 20 miles an hour. So as you look past that warning, Blanchard, Coulterville, areas right around the Don Pedro Reservoir, you're going to be seeing this very soon. So please make sure to take the actions now to get somewhere safe. And we are seeing this cell also producing some very large hail as well, upwards of about 3/4 of an inch. So please make sure that you're getting somewhere safe. Don't worry about getting the perfect photo. Don't worry about your car right now. It's all about keeping yourself safe and protected as this continues to move through. But I want to show you another view of what we're seeing. So again, Modesto, Oakdale, you're doing okay. You're staying out of this. It's areas like Waterford, Montpelier, as you get closer to LaGrange, Warnerville, getting very close to 108. So along 108, especially near Chinese Camp, you're probably seeing that heavy rain coming down. That is all associated with this thunderstorm as it continues to pass through. But for areas, again, a bit further west in Stanislaus County, you're in the clear. A few showers, you're probably even seeing some sunshine at points. But for areas further east in Stanislaus County, a completely different story. This tornado warning, again, staying up until 5:30. We're going to make sure to stay with you. And we did have a tornado warning earlier in this region. So we are keeping a very close eye on it. Again, the conditions are just favorable with those peaks of sunshine we got today, with this storm system passing through. It's made the atmosphere very unstable, and that's what's creating this rotation, creating this severe weather that is passing through right now. So I'll toss it back to Hunter. Hunter, do you have anything else to add?
We're trying to confirm some details here that we're getting into our newsroom in the area of Escalon. We're going to wait, I believe, to report that. We've got a reporter on the scene or headed to the scene in to check in on those reports. But let's talk about some of the threats that we're seeing in this specific area here. We've got, of course, radar indicated rotation is what I am hearing from the National Weather Service, Ashley. So, of course, we want to make sure that that's something that you are also hearing. But again, reading off of what we're seeing from the National Weather Service, those threats are going to be flying debris. Mobile homes will be damaged. So if you are in a mobile home, you heard me talking about that earlier. If you can safely move to a safer location, that is going to be your best option as we see this extend for over until 5:30. So we've still got some time here that we're going to be in this level of danger. But that thunderstorm that's around this area can also be very, very dangerous. So it's just not the tornado warning. Steve is here as well with me as we continue with this coverage.
And a couple of breaking updates. We do actually have a couple of funnel cloud pictures just into our newsroom right now. One of them I know is located in Mariposa, which I believe might be the eastern area of where this tornado warning has been issued. But you can see a funnel cloud there. This extreme weather is all over our area, our foothill area. So the tornado warning, just part of this extreme weather, of course, and we're going to be staying on top of that for the next 22 minutes until that is set to expire. But you're looking right now at this picture that just came into our newsroom. So this is a funnel cloud, something that we're familiar with seeing in this area. And it's just a matter of whether or not that funnel cloud were to touch down to make it a tornado. Then this picture, a separate video taken in Turlock. So those are two separate funnel clouds, okay?
From earlier today, I want to make sure that we're clarifying that, as that these images that you're seeing are from earlier today, but this will be possible with this same cell that's passing overhead right now. So, of course, we did get some images out of that last one, but with this one, don't risk it for the photo. So I want to talk back about the rotation. So as Hunter mentioned, you know, it's something the National Weather Service looks out for. That's something we look out for here as well. We look for that rotation in those inner cells as these thunderstorms develop. We look for these inbound and outbound winds. As the two merge together, you've got one direction going this way, it creates a shear, and that is basically a friction that's happening in the upper levels of the atmosphere, creating strong instability, but also creating that rotation, which is able to produce these funnel clouds. So as we take a look this, just to the east of Montpelier Road, oh, and there we go, the warning just shifted a little bit further east as that storm continues to move to the northeast. We are still seeing some lightning strikes happening in that area. That is still showing signs of unstable atmosphere and also still showing signs of that rotation, that friction that's happening in the upper levels of the atmosphere. This tornado warning again across eastern portions of Stanislaus County, starting to move into Tuolumne counties and may even extend into portions of Mariposa County, although it's not listed here on your screen. Hail size has been detected upwards about 3/4 of an inch. So that is some larger hail. So please make sure that you're going inside. Go into your home. Do not risk it. Do not stay outside as this passes through. But you can see, Hickman, you were in it, now out of it, but still please keep an eye to the sky as this continues to pass through. Turlock, you're still staying out of it as well as this storm is now to the east of you. As we zoom in even more, Chinese Camp still seeing some heavy rain. Blanchard, you're about to see some heavy rain here very soon. LaGrange getting the bulk of it as that system continues to pass off to the northeast. Don Pedro Reservoir right here. Again, if you do have any loved ones, any family members that are in this area, please make sure that they know that this is headed their direction. I do want to show you Barrett. You're about to see it extended into your area as well. Heavy rain, gusty winds. We have seen some gusts today, upwards about 50 miles per hour. So that's what we're keeping an eye out for. That's going to really sweep up that debris if we do see any rotation, and that's going to carry it. So damaging wind gusts. Merced Falls, you've also been included, Snelling as well. So this thunderstorm is still developing. It still has a lot of energy with it, and that's what we're keeping a very close eye on as that warning continues to shift off to the northeast. This storm moving off to the northeast at a rate of 20 miles an hour. So although it is a slower moving cell, it's still, you need to make precautions. You need to make the moves now to get yourself somewhere safe. So I'm going to run back to my computer again, change up the views a little bit. Hunter, Steve, anything else that we're learning?
I don't know if we can get a live look at one of our cameras out there to just kind of show the scene, the weird cloud formations that you see. And sometimes, you know, it's hard to see when this funnel cloud develops. And it's amazing sometimes when we can get those clear pictures that viewers do send us in. But these are weird shaped clouds that are very clearly different than what you're used to seeing during a normal storm, and then suddenly these funnel clouds form.
Which is what people, probably right now, a lot of people are in their cars. It's 5:11, so this is a very busy commute time. You can see on the bottom of your screen another story we're following for you. One person hospitalized after a roof collapses in Escalon. We are still working to confirm if that was a weather-related situation or not. But as Steve was calling for earlier, I'm not sure what sky cam this is, but certainly showing those cloud formation. This is in Modesto. So, I mean, good point there, Steve, is that if you're stepping outside and the energy feels weird, I know for myself growing up in Texas, that was an indication a lot of the times that there was going to be severe weather, even if it wasn't maybe forecasted to be a tornado. But you can feel the energy shift, which makes following your local news so important right now, because people like Ashley, the experts, the meteorologists, are making sure that you are staying safe throughout every turn of this, because we have been seeing a number of weather reports throughout the afternoon.
Very ominous looking clouds right there, and you're looking at that lower banner right there, one taken to the hospital after a roof collapse in Escalon. We don't know if that is part of this severe weather situation or not yet, but we can confirm that 2 people were inside what looks to be a commercial building in Escalon, and 1 person needed to be taken to the hospital. We're staying on top of that. We do have Esteban Reynoso heading to the scene right now as part of this severe weather coverage.
Let's talk about if you are maybe in your car, somebody that may be traveling in their car, the best practices right now for you if you are in the area where you're seeing those strong winds or tornadic activity. The best thing you can do if you can safely drive to the closest structure, whether that's a gas station, whether that's a shopping mall, a grocery store, getting inside of a building and out of your car, if you can safely do so, is the thing to do. You cannot outrun or outdrive a tornado. They are simply too dangerous, and vehicle is not the place that you want to be during a time like this. If you are inside, if you're in this area, getting to that interior room, covering your head, that is the most important thing to do during a time like this, is to make sure that you've got everything you need to be safe. But if maybe you're not in the area of concern, this is a really great time to start taking those steps, figuring out a plan. Where's the safest room in your home? If you've got a basement, obviously it's a basement. If you don't, it's going to be a bathtub. If there's no exterior facing walls, making sure you've got some pillows, anything to cover your head. Just start taking those steps now to prepare, because as Steve was telling us earlier, this is not, out of the ordinary necessarily for some of these communities, which is, for me, surprising to hear, Steve, that maybe you've seen something like this, because it feels rare.
Every now and then we do, and we want to update the breaking news we've been bringing you about that roof collapse, but we now have new information that it's in Oakdale, not Escalon. We do have a reporter heading to the scene there, but a roof collapse. We don't know if it's associated with this particular severe weather system, but I think Ashley and Nanfria might have an update. We are now about 30 minutes into this tornado warning, and it's set to expire at 5:30. Ashley.
Yeah, so we still have a little bit over 15 minutes to go, but I just want to talk about when this was first indicated. So right around 4:48, the National Weather Service got reports that, hey, okay, things are starting to change in this area of Stanislaus County, even to portions of Tuolumne counties, and now we're starting to see this extend into Mariposa County. So I want to show you exactly what we're watching right now. This tornado warning extending from the southeastern portion of Stanislaus County into Tuolumne County, but also extending further south now into Mariposa County. This cell is now moving to the northeast, a little bit more east than north, but still northeast in its movement, and it's moving at a rate of 20 miles an hour. We are still seeing lightning coming out of this cell, also some slight rotation still indicated as well as this continues to pass through. But areas a bit further north and east of this, we're talking about Barrett, we're talking about Blanchard, we're talking about LaGrange, Merced Falls, Snelling. You're all a part of this as this cell continues to pass. We are continuing to keep an eye on these areas a bit further south, as we have seen them extended in this warning. Of course, Mariposa County not listed on this box yet, but it should be updated here very soon. Valley Springs still seeing some heavy rain. San Andreas still seeing some heavy rain. So we still do have the signs that our atmosphere is still very unstable, and it is still capable of producing severe thunderstorms in other places and tornado warnings are still possible as well. We have seen a tornado warning in this area earlier today, right around 3:30 this afternoon. Hunter and I brought that to you earlier today, and we did see a funnel cloud associated with that. Now, there is a possibility of a funnel cloud out of this cell as well, but please make sure to not go outside and check for yourselves. Make sure you get somewhere safe if you are in that warning box anywhere east of Waterford, east of Turlock, and getting closer to Tuolumne counties and Mariposa counties. Now, let's take a look a little bit closer at that radar signal. So right as you get eastward of Montpelier Road, that's where we're seeing that rotation still happening, new lightning strikes as well. So we're still keeping a very close eye on this as it continues to evolve, continues to change. Now, one thing we saw with the last tornado warning earlier this afternoon is once that cell hit a little bit further into Tuolumne County, it did lose some steam as that warmer air, they lost that tap to warmer air and it lost some steam, creating things to fall out and that thunderstorm and even tornado warning to collapse. So we're going to continue to keep a close eye on this. Again, I don't have any details on that roof collapse, but I can say with gusty winds like this, with how active these cells have been so far this afternoon, none of it can be ruled out. Over to you guys.
It's not even just, of course, that strong wind is dangerous, but there's also, like we said, flying debris, but also hail that we're talking about that we saw in portions and parts of Sacramento County, even the Valley today. So these are all things to keep in mind as we see this severe weather take over. We're seeing now this roof collapse in Oakdale.
Looks like this is a grocery store right here. So we're seeing an interior. It's a cost plus food. Cost less, food in Oakdale. Roof collapse, part of the severe weather coverage that we're monitoring right now. The store has been closed. As you can imagine, there's been an evacuation, employees outside. 2 people were hurt. 1 person hurt enough that they needed to go to the hospital. The other is going to be okay, asked not to be taken to the hospital.
Let's talk about context here, guys, because right now we're still trying to figure out the most important thing is this tornado warning. When I was looking at kind of where we were talking about here, it looks like Oakdale is north of Waterford and that area that we're seeing in the tornado warning. So as far as I'm concerned, this is not specifically connected to the tornado warning, which is what we're tracking for you right now for another 12 minutes at least, when that is allowed to expire at 5:30. So the most important thing right now that we are tracking for you is that immediate danger from the National Weather Service, a radar indicated rotation from a tornado. That Ashley and Frio right now is getting some updated maps and looking at where this is traveling. You can see Snelling, Waterford, Montpelier, all of those. If you are in this area, you need to be getting indoors. You need to be getting away from windows because, Steve, in your immediate memory, when's the last time we saw multiple tornado warnings? Can you think of a time when this severe weather rash outbreak like this has happened?
We've seen tornado warnings in this market before. I don't know that we've seen 2 right on top of each other the way we have this afternoon. But a lot of times also we'll see tornadoes touch down and we only learn about it afterwards also because we have these rural areas. In fact, this is one of those areas right there in this current situation where there thankfully are not a lot of homes involved in this particular situation.
But people are in their cars and traveling right now again because of the busy commute home. So maybe they're passing through the area. Again, a separate situation you're looking at here in Oakdale. This is not within the tornadic activity. This is away from that, but still obviously weather that has been severe across the region. A roof has collapsed. They're at a grocery store in Oakdale. 1 person taken to the hospital. And of course, they're trying to get everybody out. Modesto Fire working on this one.
So we know this tornado warning, they're talking about a 20-mile-per-hour movement of the weather right now. What are we talking about, Ashley, when we talk about the wind speeds associated with a tornado? I know there's a lot of different types of wind speeds that can come with that.
Absolutely. You will see different things change, especially if a tornado is reported. That, of course, the wind speeds could change just depending on if we see how big the damage is. Really, it's going to be once we get damage reports in, once we get first eye accounts of what exactly we're seeing out there, that's going to change our reports drastically. But what we do know is that this cell right now is producing gusts upwards about 50 miles per hour. But along with that, we could be seeing some stronger isolated gusts within the cell itself. And that's what's helping that rotation really start to develop. But again, that tornado warning going to continue until 5:30. So we're not out of the woods yet. And again, this is for the southeast portion of Stanislaus County, Tuolumne counties. You're in this as well. And even extending into Mariposa counties. We are are still seeing a lot of lightning strikes out of this, cloud to ground lightning strikes hitting the ground, heavy rain, and also some large hail coming out of this as it continues to pass. But here's some areas that are still going to be in focus. A little bit further east, this is Lake McClure, and then that stretches into Don Pedro Reservoir. So we are still seeing some heavy rain coming across portions of the reservoir, and we're about to see more heavy rain filling into Lake McClure. And even as you get closer to Mariposa, also going to see that rain very soon. But gusty winds, lightning, and even hail as large as an inch has been picked up already today, even from the tornado warning that we saw earlier this afternoon. So this is a very evolving, changing situation, and you want to make sure if you have any loved ones, friends, family, anyone, please make sure that they know that this is going on. If they don't have TV, if they are maybe outside working in the yard, make sure they get indoors. We know this is a very rural area, and of course with rural areas you've got people that are working in the yard all day or out on their land all day. So please make sure that they get inside, they get to somewhere safe, away from the exterior walls, make sure they get to the ground, have something to block their head in case something falls on top of them. We are going to be worried about debris with this as those strong winds pick up. And again, we're seeing gusts already upwards about 50 miles per hour. But here's a look at that rotation. Again, these inbound and outbound winds, as they hit each other, it creates that shear and it creates that energy, that instability that we look for in creating those rotations. We are still continuing to track this. Again, it's just to the east of Montpelier. As you get closer to LaGrange, starting to see some more activity heading that way along portions of Highway 59. So please be careful. Make sure you're keeping a close eye on this from inside, somewhere safe. Make sure you have backups when it comes to if your power goes out, make sure you have some water in case something happens as well to your utilities. So make sure you have a way of keeping yourself safe. But again, this was first reported just northeast of Turlock. So first reported then, and that was around 4:48. And now here we are getting close to that 5:30 mark, but still, we're still over 5 minutes out. So we still have to keep a close eye on this. It still does have a lot of energy as I keep seeing those thunderstorm or those lightning stripes keep popping up. So it still has a lot of energy tied in with this cell. So I'm going to run back to my computer, see if there's any new updates. Yeah. Are you guys seeing anything on your end?
You know, so I've been checking closely social media, of course, trying to see if there's anybody that's maybe been reporting any eyewitness accounts, if they were, you know, safely driving in the area or saw something. And I haven't been able to see anything, which is either good news that nobody, you know, it is rural enough, or good news that people are not worried about getting a photo. So either way, we'll go with that. But this is certainly having a spin-off, no pun intended, to other problems that we're seeing with severe weather across the region. Yeah,
we had the one picture, several photos of the Cost Less grocery store in Oakdale where there was a roof collapse, not part of the tornado warning, outside about 20 miles away, in fact, from where the tornado warning has hit. But we have pictures here showing that, and we've been reporting how one employee was taken to the hospital with some type of injury. Our reporter Esteban Reynoso is heading to the scene right there. A second employee was also hurt, but did not require any medical attention. You can see the damage done from it. It's kind of like what you see, what we're used to seeing after earthquakes.
I was going to say, this is funny that this is something that, you know, the South and the deep South in other parts of the nation, they're having their rash and severe weather. Now said high winds were reported in this area of Oakdale. So once again, while it may not be in the sphere of that tornadic activity, it just shows you how dangerous those winds can be when they hit an area that is heavily populated. Again, thankfully, Steve made the point that a lot of these areas and communities are very rural, Montpelier being the most populated that I could find under that area of concern, about 10,000 people or so, maybe not even that many. But Ashley is standing by. She's got a checkup of those maps. Ash, what are you learning about where this is going and maybe any updates for us?
Yeah, I'm still keeping an eye on where exactly this is. I do see a lot of farmland as I look at the maps, not a lot of structures, but of course, when you're out in this rural area, everything is possible. You could see down barns, you could see, you know, things collapse within homes, within outbuildings, you know, a little bit of everything is possible as this moves through. But one thing I do want to note is that we have seen very strong wind within the last 24 hours in front of these cells, and even as they pass overhead. This cell producing gusts upwards about 50 miles an hour. And again, that hail size 3/4 of an inch. So very close to that inch mark. And we could even see within the tight tight pockets of this cell, we could see some larger hail being formed from this, as it does have a really good hail core. But also heavy rain to be noted. There is one thing I forgot to mention, Lake Turlock is out in this area. So again, Don Pedro, Lake McClure, and Lake Turlock. If you do know anyone that is in this area, heading to this area today, please make sure that you let them know this is going on. Make sure that they find somewhere to go. Make sure they can go inside somewhere if they can, get to somewhere safe to get out of this as it passes. But this cell still traveling to the northeast at a rate of about 20 miles an hour. So heading off towards Tuolumne counties and even heading as far south as Mariposa counties, although not listed in that map there. We are going to continue to see those areas a little bit further southeast of this and even to the northeast as well, as we have seen some splitting happening with some heavier rain starting to fall, or just now moving into portions of Highway 59 south of Snelling. So into Mariposa counties, we're already seeing that again. Don Pedro, Lake McClure, we're still keeping a close eye on those areas, as they're going to be seeing some heavier rain here very soon. But this is a very evolving situation. Again, we have seen this area being closely monitored today, as we did have a tornado warning earlier. Of course, it didn't include Stanislaus County, but it did happen just right on the edge, much closer to Tuolumne counties, Mariposa, and Merced counties. But this one right now, southeast Stanislaus, so areas Turlock, Hickman, you're in the clear. It's as you get closer to Tuolumne counties, that's where we're seeing the areas that are included in this. But radar is still picking up on that rotation. I want to zoom in a little bit closer, south of or east of Mount Pelier as you get closer to LaGrange. That's where we're seeing the heaviest rain right now, falling across portions of Highway 59 and even extending all the way to Highway 108. So we are still seeing some heavy rain coming down, even if you're further north of this cell. Here's a look at that rotation again. New lightning strikes continue to pop up. The strike duration, so in between each strike, right around 15 minutes, but still very active, as the cell still has a lot of energy tied to it. This rotation that we've been keeping a close eye on, it's those inbound and outbound winds that's creating that shear, creating that rotation, and giving us the chance of seeing a funnel cloud develop or even a weak tornado develop out of this. We're going to continue to keep a close eye on this. We are starting to see a little bit of a change in the temperature once it hits some higher elevations closer to Tuolumne counties, and that'll really help it lose steam. But still a lot going on with this cell. I'm going to run back to my computer to see if there is any new updates, but are you guys learning anything new?
Oh, sorry. Go
I was
ahead,
going to say
Steve.
we're 1 minute away from this set to expire right now at 5:30. The National Weather Service put this tornado warning out at about 5:48, if I recall. So we've been under this warning for now close to 45 minutes. You guys were right on top of it as soon as it was imposed. But do we see these expire like right there at 5:30?
Well, what's interesting is sometimes the National Weather Service, if it falls apart even before, they'll allow it to be rescinded. But it has been consistent, even with the one that we saw around 3:30 this afternoon, that they have continued to keep this up until it expires. And then, it usually is, it happens that fast unless they extend it, that it will just be rescinded right at that 5:30 mark. And it's important to note, I've been watching San Pedro Reservoir, Moccasin Peak, showing a lot of activity when it comes to cloud movement. I've been trying to see if I can do some time lapses to see if there's been any rotation, but really at the end of the day, just very heavy rain and strong winds, it looks like, from what we're seeing here. But Ash, are you hearing if this has been allowed to expire?
I'm not hearing that yet. I'm actually looking at my radar boxes right now, and it does look like they're focusing more on Mariposa County, which is some good news, is that this continues to drift off towards the southeast. Tuolumne County, you're still in it as well for now, so please make sure, although you may not be exactly included in the warning box, you are still seeing a lot of activity out there. So just wait it out. Wait until this storm passes before you even risk going outside. So LaGrange, although you're not included in it anymore, please make sure that you stay inside. Keep yourself safe. Find somewhere in the interior of your home to make sure that you're away from those exterior walls and windows. But we are still seeing a lot of lightning strikes out of this. So I could see them extending this just a little bit longer, especially for Mariposa County, Tuolumne County. So I could see that happening, but still a lot of lightning strikes. And again, they're really focusing now on Mariposa County as you get closer to Highway 59 from Snelling to Merced Falls and even into Barrett. I could see that extended a bit further east. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see what happens here. But this cell, it continues to move to the northeast at a rate of about 20 miles an hour. So areas a bit further southeast, please make sure you're keeping a close eye on this. Make sure you have a way of getting reports to your phone. And if you do have any loved ones, any friends, family that live in this area, make sure they know this is going on right now. Again, this was first reported right around 4:48 this evening, and now here we are close right around 5:31 that we are still seeing this still very active in this area. So there's still a lot to track. Let me go run to my computer, see if I have any new updates. But again, Mariposa, Merced, Tuolumne counties, you're included in this tornado warning. And again, it's probably going to be extended. Oh, and it looks like it has been. All right, 5:45 p.m. is the now end.
Okay, so that's just brand new. Breaking update right there is this tornado warning has been extended. It will have now been in effect for a full hour in the areas of Tuolumne County, in Stanislaus County as well.
I'm curious, can we get a Miss 10 if somebody can take my computer full screen? I'm looking at Moccasin Peak. This is near the Don Pedro Reservoir. Now, the cameras are not pointed toward the area of activity here. It's pointed more toward the east, and we know it's that is not the location, but it does give some indication as to what the weather looks like right now within the last 15 minutes. Again, if somebody could pull up my computer, I believe I've got the right settings loaded, but again, just a lot of heavy rain. I've been looking kind of around there's a lot of those Alert California cameras that are usually very helpful during fire season. I did not think we'd be using it for this. Okay.
But you can see the ominous clouds right there, and that's part of the, that is part of this severe weather that's moving through the area is torrential downpours. Yeah,
let's bring this up and then show you that 15-minute time lapse. So again, this is that Moccasin Peak, not the area where the rotation is. This is the opposite direction to the east, but you can just see how quickly those clouds are moving. Let's do an hour here, even more active. You can see the rainfall there. They switch sides and look at a different direction. But again, that just shows how active our weather is right now. A lot of things are happening with those clouds moving very quickly. Ashley's standing by, as well as Nick Marianos, Chief Meteorologist Nick Marianos, also here to bring us an update on this tornado warning that, Nick, has now been extended to 5:45.
Exactly. And we're also going to continue watching those tornado warnings continue. As we mentioned, we saw this quite a bit. Is my microphone on?
I am not hearing Nick yet.
I'm not hearing you just yet.
Getting it on.
Microphone will hopefully get Nick up here very quickly. But again, like we said, this has been in place for quite some time now. It has been extended in portions of our viewing area, Tuolumne County specifically, until 5:45. Have we got Nick's mic?
All right. There we go. Here we are. Okay, so here's the latest right now with the tornado warning that, as we just mentioned, has been extended here till 5:45. So if we could just pull up a KOVR traffic source. I could switch over to the other radar products here. You can see some new clouded ground lightning strikes. Some of the things that we look at here with some of the developing thunderstorms and also areas of rotation is going to be that lightning concentration. If you start seeing lightning strikes, concentration of lightning strikes near where we have that rotation, that's an indication that the storm is strengthening. So what we're seeing there, again, that thunderstorm that has showed signs of rotation as it continues making its way off toward the east and northeast. So what we're looking at here is the nearest radar site, and this is a velocity scan. So you're seeing wind coming in different directions. Red is movement away from the radar beam, and it's kind of hard to see. What the radar is doing is shooting the storm up so far away from the radar site, shooting the storm up way up high in the atmosphere. So you're seeing the wind and the rotation in the mid upper level of the storm, and as you start to see the air coming toward the radar site and away from the radar site. So where those come together is where that rotation is. Hasn't been very strong, but of course we've already seen these storms today with the history of producing funnel clouds, and a lot of times these can be pretty short-lived as a result of some of this. So we're going to take a close look here and zoom in. I'm going to ask Ashley to be on standby as well. If you have any additional reports, Ashley, any additional information, feel free to jump in as well. So again, here's your thunderstorm right there, and it's again making its way off toward the west and east there. You can see the tornado warning that has been extended there till 5:45 from Mariposa, Merced, and also a small sliver of Tuolumne County. There's Highway 59 right over here, and you have this batch of some heavy rainfall, also some small hail with some of these storms too. We've seen that already throughout much of the day so far today, and as a result there, seeing these thunderstorms also pretty slow moving as well. So overall, we'll take a close look into that tornado warning. Again, that's going to be along 59 there. The rotation's off toward the west and northwest, and that's your cloud to ground lightning strikes that we're seeing. We have a couple of cloud to ground lightning strikes here, another one off toward the east, and if you start seeing that, again, over where that rotation is, especially an increase in that lightning over the area of rotation, that's a sign of the rotation strengthening. Right now, I don't see any evidence of that at the moment, but overall, this is going to continue working its way off toward the east and northeast. We'll pull up that radar scan one more time there to get a bigger picture. I'm going to also switch products to get a different radar site to get a different view of the storm. And we'll show you where that is. Again, you see Highway 32 to the north there. 59 goes north to south, kind of parallel to that. And we'll switch over to the Sacramento radar site here, see if we see anything different. And at this point, not seeing a whole lot in the way of organized rotation with that, but nonetheless, something that we're going to continue watching. Ashley, do you have any new information at the moment?
You know, we do have to, all right, so we do have to watch for how
Got it. Okay. So, okay.
So go ahead.
All right. Sorry about that, Ashley.
All right, sorry about that. I thought we were going to see both microphones on the back.
We actually are going to break into this coverage right now to go to a live reporter. Esteban Reynosa is at one of the damages that we've been able to report so far in Oakdale. This was the roof collapse.
Yeah, separate from the tornado warning, guys. We're still tracking that being the very most important thing.
But let's head up to Esteban Reynosa with the very first report we have on this roof collapse. Esteban.
Hey guys, yeah, we just got on scene here in Cruz. Right now they're cleaning up what is left of that partial roof collapse. That's what it looks like at this Costless here in Oakdale. Now, since we've been here, crews have been working diligently to try to bring a lot of the water outside from inside the store to now outside here, because there is some damage that you could see on the inside of the store. It's really difficult to see it right now, but we did get some video that we're going to show you later on from inside the store that shows this partial roof collapse. What witnesses tell us is that this happened from a storm, that it was not a tree that we're hearing, that it was a storm that came through this area that just with so much force and wind and water that it broke through the right corner of this Costless here in Oakdale. So we're still trying to learn a lot more from what happened inside, as well as what kind of weather event exactly led to this partial roof collapse. And so far we haven't heard of any injuries either, but we do have some witness accounts here that say that they were inside the store when a lot of water and storm just rolled through this area that brought a part of that roof down. Guys.
Our first look there at the outside of the scene there, and you are under clear skies right now, so it's an example of just how quickly these systems can move.
And how unpredictable it can be. I mean, Esteban, have you been talking to people who maybe were there when this happened, who could describe to you the scene and what things looked like if there was that heavy wind that we were hearing earlier that could have contributed to this?
Yeah, there were some people here in the parking lot as we got on scene. They told us that they were inside the store and they felt the building shake. They felt the whole kind of building shake back and forth. It was rocking. They didn't know exactly what it was, but they knew that there was a lot of water coming down, a lot of rain and wind that was in this area. They thought that it could have potentially been an earthquake, something not related to the storm. But now other witnesses are saying that with the amount of water that broke through that partial roof collapse and the amount of water that we're seeing also on the ground that's being pushed outside from inside of the store that is now running alongside here behind me in this parking lot, that it had to be something of the storm. That's what witnesses are telling us right now.
Esteban Reynosa live in Oakdale, where there was a roof collapse associated to some severe weather. We want to go back to Nick Marianos now, also monitoring this tornado warning that has been extended for at least another 5 minutes here till 5:45. Nick.
Yeah, that's right. You're still seeing that area of rotation, though at this point it's not a very strong area of rotation, but that said, the radar is not seeing the lowest levels of rotation, which is where you want to see that strong rotation for storms, because it's just so far away from the Hanford radar site and the Sacramento radar site. So the radar beam shoots up into the storm and it gets a good picture of what's happening. And here's what we're seeing right now. Of course, that tornado warning has been extended, as we mentioned, for about 5 more minutes on this. So we'll continue to see what the latest trends are. We'll take it scan by scan with the radar site, but that red polygon, this is where you have that tornado warning for portions of Mariposa, Merced, and Tuolumne County through about 5:45. You can see along 59, there's Snelling down to the south there, Marcel Falls Road, and Marcel Falls off toward the east, just outside the polygon. You can see some cloudy ground lightning strikes and also some of the heavier rainfall, but nonetheless, that tornado warning continues for a little bit longer. What we're looking at here, when we show you the velocity scan, it's not a product we show a lot here in Northern California, but it gives you an idea of what's happening inside the storm with respect to the movement, the rotation, the wind speeds inside that thunderstorm. And I'll go back to that image because what you can see though, with that rotation, you see a couple different colors here. You see a red color, you see a green color, and green is movement toward the radar site. In this case, we're using the Hanford radar. It's getting a better picture of the storm. So it's movement down to the south toward the radar, and then also red is movement away from the radar. So where those come together, that's going to be your rotation. All right, and we've been seeing a couple of times throughout the life cycle of this storm that rotation has increased and then decreased. And you see that a lot with these type of thunderstorms, that things can evolve very quickly, and sometimes you can get a brief touchdown in between radar scans. Radar scans update every few minutes. So that's why we have that tornado warning in place for this, because there's been those classic signs of that rotation for what we get here in Northern California. Typically not those strong, long-living tornadoes that you see out in the plains, but nonetheless warns enough that it has prompted that tornado warning in place there for portions of Merced and parts of Mariposa and Tuolumne County. So what we have here at the radar site, when you want to see for a strong evidence of rotation, is bright red, bright green, gate to gate. That's called a couplet. Right now, we're not seeing clear evidence of that just based on the radar imagery alone. It's more in the way of broad rotation, but still, that to say, we're still seeing, evidence of that rotation in place, but not nearly as pronounced as what it was about 10 to 15 minutes ago when that storm was a little bit further toward the west. Now, it's been moving very slowly. So under the storm, not only do you have the risk of, that brief spin up, but you also have very heavy rainfall. And with the slow movement of the storm, ponding of water out there in the roadways, some of these at times been producing some hail as well. And all that's going to continue working its way slowly toward the east and northeast with that. So again, there's your cloudy ground lightning strike just off east of 59. And overall, you still see that area rotation. We'll take another look here on that area of rotation. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit from this storm here, and we'll get a little bit better picture what's happening with that as a result of this. But nonetheless, we're still seeing that storm system continue with the radar site. We'll try that again, zoom out. Well, there we go. So again, cloudy ground lightning strike is not really seeing a whole much of an uptick in that with this storm in itself. Bigger picture shows more thunderstorms up and down the spine of the foothills. Also some pretty heavy weather further to the north, but of course the big focus has been that thunderstorm that's been over portions of southern Stanislaus County into Merced County. We've had a few tornado warnings today. Ashley's been covering this throughout much of the afternoon, and nonetheless you can see down to the south of that main thunderstorm, you have additional thunderstorms that have been developing here, and also seeing a little bit more of an increase in some of the lightning strikes as a result of that. So you're going to see me step off the screen. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit here so we can get a better picture of what's been happening with some of the storms, because it appears to me that this thunderstorm that prompted the tornado warning starting to weaken quite a bit. So I would not be surprised here in just a couple of minutes or so to see that tornado warning expire. Notice down to the south of Snelling, you have other thunderstorms with more recent cloudy ground lightning strikes. So you might see some of the energy transfer to some of those storms down to the south as the atmosphere starts to get worked over here. But nonetheless, again, we have to respect that polygon, right? So 5:45, just in less than a minute now. So we'll see if that continues to expire. And just like that, you can see the polygon has disappeared, and that tornado warning has been allowed to expire as that thunderstorm continues to weaken as it makes its way toward the base of the foothills, toward Tuolumne and parts of Mariposa County. We're seeing a lot more of the thunderstorm activity shifting a little bit further down to the south with the recent cloudy ground lightning strikes. But at this point, we do not have an active tornado warning in our area. I do want to just take a quick zoom out here real quick just to get a bigger picture of what's been happening outside of just that thunderstorm, because before I throw it back over to the anchors here, Hunter and Steve at the desk, we do have a couple of other heavier storms that is worth watching. And while I'm over here in the Weather Center, I just want to touch base with Ashley. Any updates, any reports that you're seeing coming in, Ashley? at this moment?
I would say no new reports, but we are still keeping an eye on the few stronger thunderstorms, especially along the I-80 corridor. So as you get closer to Nevada counties, and then of course for our foothills, they are still being targeted right now from Calaveras to Amador counties.
And you're seeing that to the north there, the foothills, Cameron Park out by Folsom. You have some thunder and lightning here just outside of Roseville up toward Lincoln. So these have been some pretty strong thunderstorms. You can see some back building off toward the west as well. And while we can't rule it out, again, at this point, we don't see anything too much in the way of strong rotation with those storms. But, you know, with the atmosphere that we've had today and a lot of spin in the atmosphere, something that we just can't completely ignore. So we'll continue watching that here at the moment, because some of these storms that we are seeing out by Roseville, they are producing torrential rainfall rates, some areas of hail as well, some gusty winds. We've been seeing that a lot, and a lot more development up here just outside of Sacramento. So that's going to be an area we're watching, also to the north of Colusa County. But at this point, Steve and Hunter, the tornado warning has been allowed to expire, no longer posing an immediate threat for those in that tornado warning.
Still, obviously, threat is not over. We know you're going to continue tracking those pop-up storms as this night progresses. Great job, Nick. Thank you so much for your help, for keeping us safe. We want to get back out to Esteban Reynoso. He has been in Oakdale covering a roof that had collapsed. And Esteban, I want you to clarify here. We were getting reports earlier on of injuries. Have you heard of anybody that was hurt inside of this grocery store where the roof collapsed?
That's the first thing that we wanted to ask, Hunter. We wanted to ask if anybody was hurt, if everybody was okay. As soon as we got out of the car into the parking lot here of this Costless in Oakdale, we asked, is everyone okay? They said that everybody is okay. They haven't reported any injuries. But here in this area, it's such a different change of scene than what they had before. Right now, the sun had kind of peeked out a little bit. You can still see some blue in the sky as well. It was a very, very different scene from a storm that kind of rushed through here. And you could see it right behind me here. That's the damage that the crews are now dealing with. This is the roof collapse, the partial roof collapse that is on the, I want to say, the northeast corner of the Costless store. Right now, crews, as you can see right there, are also trying to clean it up. There's been a lot of debris, a lot of water that fell through this roof that came from that roof collapse that is inside. This is kind of the produce soda section of this Costless that is inside. We do have some video from inside as well, and we've spoke to several witnesses who tell us that they saw the partial roof collapse here, and there's just a lot of stuff all over the place. Right now, they've been pushing a lot of the water that fell onto this, that fell from the roof of this storm that just kind of went through this entire area. They were saying that inside it felt like there was an earthquake. They didn't think that it was the storm, the rain, the wind that was making the building kind of shake. They thought that it had to be an earthquake. But then the roof collapsed. People started screaming. They said there was a lot of water rushing through as well. And that's when they said that it had to be the storm. That's what witnesses are telling us. So right now here, if you could take a look, that's a lot of the water that has been kind of flowing out from not only inside, but also what was kind of on the roof, that is the water making its way through. So showing up here, it was a very, very different scene from what the people are telling us. They told us that it was this massive storm that just went through. They weren't sure if there was lightning or anything of that sort. If there was a funnel cloud at all, that's something that we're still looking into as well. But they did tell us that it felt otherworldly. It felt like it couldn't be a storm. It didn't feel like a regular storm. So now the Costless is closed right now. It's temporarily closed. You can see this line of trucks that's here as well. They've kind of parked them in the front to indicate to people that they are closed in the meantime. They're saying sorry for the inconvenience, of course, because a lot of people have been showing up as well to try to get the stuff that they need, the milk, the eggs, anything like that. But as you can see, workers still trying to get everything out of here to make it safe to go back in.
Well, we were looking at one of the new videos that I think you might have provided, showing the surveillance video of that collapse. Very dramatic video, and it is now we're able to confirm that one person was taken to a hospital, another person was hurt but did not seek medical care. You're looking at that video full screen now as the roof is coming down. It is roof collapse inside that grocery store. Really incredible when you look at that video that there weren't more people
Exactly.
hurt.
And the power of Mother Nature at at this point. If this does confirm to be significant wins, as people were reporting in the area earlier, that shows you right there just how dangerous and how quickly things can change. Just again, glad that more people were not hurt. One person, though, right now, as we know, hospitalized, and we're going to continue following their condition as this story develops. Esteban live for us there in Oakdale. Esteban, we appreciate it. It has been a very busy afternoon. We're tracking all of it for you, though, from weather and now, of course, from that breaking news from Modesto.